I'm very delighted to welcome Dr. Amit Goswami and Victoria Contorет on this little session regarding consciousness and awareness and all the interesting things which are behind these two words. Dr. Amit Goswami came to see us over here in Prague from US. As he is one of the quantum activists, very active all over the world, and I am very happy to have Amit over here. Welcome.
Delighted.
And I am also happy to introduce Victoria Contorет, who is not only the writer and an author, and she is the leader of N.E.O. People International Movement, and I am both of these things are very much linked together, and I am happy to have both of them here. So welcome, Victoria.
Thank you very much.
Before we actually go a little bit more deeper into this topic, I would first of all like to ask Dr. Goswami to tell us a little bit more about quantum activism.
Well, a little bit behind the scene, a tremendous revolution is taking place in science, in the sense that the Newtonian worldview, which had a very deterministic way of looking at the universe, which is fine for matter and machines, but not so fine for human beings. And now the Newtonian worldview is being replaced by the quantum worldview. Even for matter, the Newtonian worldview is incomplete. When we replace it with the quantum worldview, we find that the ideas are perfect for the human being. Of course, initially the problem arises because people think, well, human beings are also material. But then on even cursory examination, we find that no, human beings have internal experiences. And there we find very quantum type of movement, rapid movements. Thoughts move, feelings move. They're not stationary like the macro objects of matter. So this observation and the very fact that we have a self gives us the idea that maybe quantum physics applies to human beings much better, because quantum physics has to be understood only on the basis that consciousness is very important for the world. It's the basis of the world. So in this way, we have developed a new worldview which applies to the human being. And then the question is, how should we live? Obviously, we should live according to the right way of thinking about ourselves. And that produces a new challenge. I call it quantum activism. How do we live using the quantum principles? How do we change ourselves to bring congruence in our life between thinking, living, and the way we make our livelihood? And we do it in such a way that our changes are consonant with the changes that we want to see in the world. In other words, that slogan, walk your talk, that has started several decades ago, we are putting this into practice. So we think quantum worldview, we live quantum worldview, and we want to change the professions and the world to adjust to the quantum worldview.
Thank you very much for the explanation. That makes me think really about the two words that you actually mentioned, or the two phrases, walk the talk, being conscious about things, and that actually links very much to what Victoria is talking about awareness, uniqueness of human being, consciousness. Would you tell us a little bit more about the N.E.O. People International Movement?
Sure, exactly, Magdalena. It's exactly what is going on. The idea of N.E.O. people, it's idea about new awareness, about eco-mind, and about open heart. Mm-hmm. These three things together bring us to the field of understanding the new concept of the physical life in 21st century. This is the new platform for our life every day, for our business, for our family relation, for our hobbies, for our interest which we come through in our life to understand the awareness point in our life. Every simple mean it in a life. I'm very happy also that we can speak today with Dr. Goswami about the thema, which is just like I feel it, it's the same thema which we speak with a bit different word about. But thema and idea is very connected to each other. Idea of quantum activism and the idea about the N.E.O. people international movement, it's in generally the same idea inside.
If I understood this correctly, it's more, Dr. Goswami is trying to apply the quantum physics into everyday life, and the N.E.O. people movement is more about the practical usage of practical discussion, let's say,
Absolutely.
about what actually means awareness. And that brings me back to the point, being aware, being conscious about myself, about my actions, walk the talk and all these things. Why do you think this topic is so much interested in nowadays? Do you think people are not aware, they are not conscious? What is awareness for you?
What has happened is that the more we look at the brain, and we find that people are stuck with this wonderful object in some ways, but it has some built-in difficulties. The built-in difficulties can be summarized as negative emotional brain circuits that gives us spontaneous negative emotions which are unconsciously activated. We cannot help it. We get angry, we get jealous, we get competitive, we get violent, we want to dominate others, and we don't know why, all these things. Then there is this me-centeredness. Every transaction, people are constantly asking, unless they are aware, they do it unawarely. What is in it for me? Without even knowing it. How can you hold relationship with just attention to your me, which you have made into an object? It's no longer a subject which has volition, which has free will, which can change. It's an unconscious me that you hold with yourself, and whatever you do, you're only careful about how the me is being taken care of, without any attention to your environment or to your relationships. And then there is this information processing, and furthermore there is this pleasure circuits, pleasure-centeredness, that too, and addiction circuits that come with that. So the human condition is not all very good. So the way that the two movements are converging is that quantum physics and quantum science, the generalization of quantum physics to the human being, is allowing us to have a theoretical understanding of this awareness or lack of awareness that we have to face. We have to do something about it, because we cannot just stand still, and people themselves have, some of the people at the lowest level of awareness are waking up to the fact that they have to do something. And we need to do something also from the point of view that the society is going downhill. Social problems are huge right now. So this is where the two movements are converging, because the N.E.O. movement, in my understanding, are developing practical, measurable criteria for people's unique position in the awareness scale. Whereas we are giving the theoretical understanding of it from the quantum science point of view. When the two converges, I see that the two working side by side would be a very powerful tool in both hands of people who want to transform, and also in the hands of social reformers and activists who want to help accelerate transformation of people, or want to bring the transformation to a massive scale.
I'm sorry, I have a question. Amit, what do you think about how to bring this idea to people? Because what we are speaking about now today, this is not that simple tema for understanding. And from idea of N.E.O. people international movement, we are thinking that need to come N.E.O. leaders who will know how to bring this idea to the people in generally to our planet. What do you think about the education or growing of new generation of leaders?
I could not agree more with you. We have an enormous need for new leaders in every arena of society. We need new leaders of business. Politics is so downhill right now, it's not workable anymore. Economics is not workable. The sciences are in disarray because we have lost our radar that what is truth.
Yeah.
How can there be science if there is no absolute truth? So we really do have huge problems. Besides congruence, we don't have any congruence at all between how we live and how we make our living and how we think. So the answer, of course, is that we go back to school and train new leaders in all these fields, new feelers, new psychologists, new business people, new economists, new political leaders, new religious leaders. Everything has to be basically done with the awareness that we now have a science of the human being. And that awareness quantum activism movement is creating, and N.E.O. is a wonderful movement for making these things practical, applicable to the world of actual people, translate the theory into practice.
Super. And what about for example, if there is something to connect to the idea, the University of Quantum Activism, which you just open now freshly, if you can tell us a bit about this your project, and if it's there, this project connected also to the growing and educate new generation of leaders?
Yes. Our main task is really to create leaders. Obviously, we cannot take this system, science, new science, and its message to the masses. That would be wastage of time because it would be very, very slow, and we don't have the capacity of reaching large number of people.
Yeah.
But what we can do is to teach the leaders who will then spread the ideas to masses in terms of large movements in those professional fields that their leadership will be applied. For example, we need people to guide that transformation, and that's more of a psychological problem, and sometimes also a little bit of a healing problem. And those will be best done by new leadership in the areas of medicine and areas of psychology. And the other emphasis we have, enormous emphasis, is to business and economics, another new area. And then we have, in the social arena, we'll pay special attention to politics because we really need new political leaders in practically every country on earth. It's not just America which has the problem of Donald Trump, but if you look at countries, other countries, every country has a problem with its leaders. The leaders have become vain, very ineffective, and mostly very me-centered.
If I just can jump in, because that was one of my questions, talking about consciousness, awareness, and all these topics, and quantum activism, N.E.O. people international movement, it actually says it's an international movement of people. And my question was in the line of, is this more for the masses, or if this is more for a specific group? You already answered that. It's more, at this moment, you don't have the capacity, probably both of you, to actually apply all these information to the masses. You want to go through a group of leaders, potential speakers of the idea, if I understand this correctly.
Absolutely.
And I just learned, Victoria, and you told me about one of the tools that you are an author of, and that's the Natural Uniqueness Pyramid by Contorет. Is that something linked together, something that could be, used maybe within the university, or how do you see? Can you tell us a little bit more about the pyramid?
Yeah, sure. I think this is, we have now very limited time, and I don't have, unfortunately, possibilities to speak about pyramid today, really deeply. But I just to say that this new project, which we are coming out very soon in cooperation with Quantum Activism movement. And we will promote it, we will give more information to the media about that, but definitely it's a new point of view how to bring to mass idea about the necessity to understand that awareness is a part of us. It's not something separate and alive. This is life. And this is life every day. And also about the theme of N.E.O. leaders, which are very important for our strategic tactical plan for our planet, how we will move forward, what kind of aims we will reach, and how we will manage all this process. Here is very important, not only aim, but also the way how to reach this aim with the light in our heart, with the light in our brain, with the understanding that what is important for our life, like first of all, this is our positive inside information. It's our transformation, and exactly the aim of N.E.O. People International Movement. This is aim to bring to the mass this process with very interesting form, which bring simple understanding for people how to use awareness, consciousness for everyday life, how not to separate all of this inside of us, but connect it, and we bring a bridge which will connect this inner life and outside everyday physical life which we're living for everyone inside. This is, I think, our future for our cooperation, N.E.O. People International Movement, and also movement of Dr. Goswami.
Thank you, Victoria, for explaining your view on this. And this is, you actually said it at this moment, and now I have to say that I am really happy to hear that. Because, talking about all these interesting things makes me think about myself. And you just touched it. It's a transformation process. It's something that we need to start, and we need to go our way through and find our position in a certain situation, and really be aware where we are, what we want to do, and walk the talk as you actually started it. And this is definitely another topic that we would like to discuss maybe next time. So thank you very much for coming. I'm happy to have you here, and hope you enjoy your time in Prague. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Magdalena, and bye-bye everybody.